Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Race number 11 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday is the Classico, the Caribbean Classic. Let's take a look at the field. We are going a mile and an eighth at Gulfstream. 4:44 the approximate post time. $300,000 is the purse. Mike and I looked at a few replays. We're going to try to come up with some opinions in here, but I'd have to admit, Mike, we're kind of guessing.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's a big field of horses. They're coming from all over the place. For the most part, we're not that familiar with them. Yeah, I tried to do what I could with it, Dan, but there's probably better information out there somewhere.
The number one is Tebow, trying to follow in the footsteps of Kukulkan, who came up from Mexico to win the Classico last year. Tebow really seems to have taken a step forward since they've stretched him out to this mile and an eighth distance. He was always solid, but the mile and an eighth has just turned his fortunes around. And we're going to take a look at his most recent race in Mexico on October the 26th. And he's on the lead right now. And you see El Santo, who's also in this race. El Santo is the gray moving into second. Tebow ran very well. He likes a mile and an eighth. He has some tactical speed. He has Irad Ortiz, and he has the rail. There are a lot of things to like. He's your morning line favorite at 7-2.
There are things to like. He ran well in this race, Dan. He got a perfect trip when you go back and watch it, just sitting right up there tracking the pace. He took it over. He drifted a little bit in the stretch, but he was never getting caught in there. I thought he ran well. I thought the runner-up ran well also. I think they're both contenders in here.
I think that trip's available to him, and you'll know we will not have a Timeform U.S. pace projector for this race, but I'm assuming the 3 Papa Candelo is going to go right to the front. That's how he's made his money thus far. And if Tebow could work out a second or third trip while saving ground, it could really work out nicely for Tebow. The number 2 is Oh Mero, this one representing Venezuela. This horse has won 9 of 10 starts, including his last 3 all in Group 1 competition. I wonder if maybe the mile and 8 is a little short for him. He's really done well at a mile and a quarter and a mile and a half. Here's his last race at a mile and a quarter, and he is on the far outside right now. The horse in between is Tap Daddy. You might be familiar with that name because I think he was a graded winner back in the stakes 2-3 years ago. Oh Mero on the outside is going to want every bit of this mile and a quarter. He's just going to get up over Tap Daddy, but what's not to like about a horse that's won 9 of 10? If this race was at a mile and a quarter, I'd be a lot more confident.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine going, a mile early on, too, just winning those races by open length. So we'll see what happens. Listen, his race 3 starts back, that Group 1 that he wanted a mile and a quarter, he crushed that field. Then he came back and he crushed another field going longer. He worked really hard in that race we just watched, Dan, but he was still very game. I wonder if that race we just watched is the reason he's gotten 3 months off. I think it could really have done this horse some good to get a little break after a hard race like that. This horse looks pretty good to me.
And he has 5 published workouts at Gulfstream, so he is acclimated here. Nice inside post position. Javier Castellano takes them out. The 3, Papa Candelo, representing Puerto Rico. This horse is 4 for 4 in his career, and he has won those races by a combined 49.5 lengths. He's just been dominating those horses, and in his last 3 races, he's just gone right to the front and has shown the field his heels. Whether he can do it against this better and stronger field, I don't know, but you're going to know him early.
I mean, he looks like he has a lot of talent to me. We'll see what he does now in a big field going a mile and 1/8 because they can't find anybody to race against him in Puerto Rico. A match race last time, only 2 horses in against him, 2 starts back. They can't find anybody to run against this horse. He'll have horses running against him in here, so we'll see how he stands up to it.
The number 4, Fix, is from Panama. This horse has run his last 3, and he always seems to take money, but he also can't get over the hump against Senor Concerto, who's also in this race. Fix is going to have to improve, I think, if he's going to take that horse down.
I think he is, too. He hasn't run poorly in those races. He's just not quite good enough. It's interesting because he was favored against that horse a couple of times when Senor Concerto beat him, but he just hasn't been able to do it. He does have good tactical speed, Dan. He gets good trips. He just hasn't been quite good enough lately.
I'm very interested in the number 5, El Santo, the Saint, El Enmascador de Plata. El Santo last time out, I mean, it was his first race in a few months. This horse was the champion 2-year-old in Mexico in 2018, and he's obviously had his share of problems. But we saw him run well last time out to be second to Tebow, and I wonder if this very sharp trainer was using that race as a prep to this. And if that's the case, I think we're going to see the real El Santo. He'll be unmasked on Sunday.
Yeah, he makes a lot of sense in this race. We'll see what he does. I mean, he's only run twice this year. I don't know if that's by design or not, because he was a good 2-year-old, and they just haven't really gotten a lot out of him so far. But I thought he ran well in his most recent race. I think he can build off that.
Senor Concerto from Panama has won his last 4 races. That's nothing to sneeze at. A horse who has a lifetime winning percentage of 60%. He's versatile. He wins at 7. He wins at 1 1/8 miles. He handles fast going, no sweat. I wonder if this is a little bit of a class test for him, but he's already handled his fellow horses from Panama. He's the best one from Panama.
Yeah, he is. We'll see what he does in this race. I'm not way against him. I think he's, one of the horses that you want to certainly consider. I don't know if I just love the horses he's been beating necessarily. Some of them are back in here. I know he's better than those horses, Dan. I don't know if he's, better than some of the others.
In from Jamaica is the number 7, Supreme Soul, the Jamaican Triple Crown winner in 2019. Things have not gone well in his last 3 starts. Listed as blinkers off, gets in very light at 108 pounds. It just looks like he's gone a little sour.
That's a real problem for him because, obviously they almost have to run him here just to see what he does, but I think they prefer that he was coming in a little bit better form. His last 3 races have not been his best.
Juice Man, based in Jamaica, bred in Jamaica, went over to Trinidad, made hay over there in their Triple Crown series. Just missed last time out in Trinidad, going 1 1/8 miles. The Jamaican horses are returning here to the Classico. I think it's kind of a big step up in class. Again, I'm not an expert, but I think that probably the Jamaican races, the Trinidad races, they may not be as good as the races from Mexico or Venezuela or Panama.
Yeah, that might be a good point. I'm not really sure about that, but it could be right. If it is, these horses might be in a little bit of trouble. I mean, listen, if nothing else, they're facing some good horses. So, do they match up or not? I'm really not sure, Dan. But this is actually a pretty interesting race. And this horse, he is in good form.
Lopecitos, the number 9 from Mexico, favored over Tebow. 2 starts back, ran second to him. We saw him finish 3rd behind Tebow and El Santo. As the distances have gotten longer, he has been surpassed by his uncoupled stablemates. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, and it's in the last 2, especially the ones that I was able to at least view. He was just no match for those horses, so he's got to find a way to do better.
The 10 Turpentimes only run 3 times. Plenty of upside potential for this grandson of Indian Charlie. And his debut, he won by 1 mile, and his last race, he won by 1 mile. And sandwiched in between those races, he faced Senor Concerto. And listen, he gave Senor Concerto a battle in that Group 2 race at Panama 2 starts back at this 1 1/8 distance. He's got a lot of upside. I think he's a very sneaky horse in this race.
I agree. Of course, I'd like to use him somewhere. I liked that race against Senor Concerto too, but they put this horse right on the lead in that race. And when they came for him, he really did not give an inch in the stretch in there. He was very game.
Number 11 is the brother Slew, representing Venezuela, still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life. This horse was no match for Tap Daddy last time out, beaten 16 lengths by Tap Daddy. We saw Tap Daddy get run down by Gran Oh Mero in Gran Oh Mero's video replay. The brother views an outsider.
He just doesn't have the form to really recommend him in here. He's got a tough post as well.
Dr. Sotelo, another tough post, another horse from Venezuela. This horse, at least a group winner in Venezuela, just missed last time out, going 1 1/8 miles. It was his first time at the distance. He ran fine, but considering the post position, considering the quality of competition, he's 12 to 1 on the morning line. I think he should be a little bit higher.
Yeah, it looks like he's got to really improve to beat this field. Maybe he can do it. It's a tough post.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Classico, the Caribbean Classic. We both liked what we've seen from Gran Oh Mero. Again, when you have a 90% winning percentage and you just beat a horse, Tap Daddy, that came back and won a group stakes race by 15 lengths, that's not a bad thing, I don't think. Gran Oh Mero, I'm hoping he can stay within range. I think that's really the key here. I don't think he can fall too far behind a Gulfstream, going 1 1/8 miles and make up the ground on horses like Tebow and Papa Candelo. I'm very interested in El Santo in here. We both went 2-5.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was interested in the same. I can't believe we have the same exact. I guess the question with those two would be the trip, though, right? Because they both feel like they want to do some closing, and I don't know if closing is really going to play that much in this race, but we'll see if they can get trips.
We'll see if they can come from out of it. Papa Candelo probably expected to make the front. Tebow not too far behind. It's going to be a fun race and a festive atmosphere at Gulfstream Park on Sunday. $300,000 on the line. Race number 11 is an approximate post time of 4:44 Eastern. Best of luck.